Hey guys, it's Brian with Frostbite Off-Road. We're back in the garage. Today we're going to be working on a fun little project. We're going to go ahead and make a 2-tire deflator for our Smittybilt air compressor. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at all the stuff we need to go ahead and replace our thin and pretty cheesy air hose that comes with our Smittybilt compressor. This is going to be the 5.6 CFM one. This one works pretty good, but I do want to go ahead and replace this. This is pretty cheesy. This gauge doesn't work right, and I want to go ahead and hook up to 2 tires at once. So what we did was we went ahead and got some Flexzilla 1/4-inch hose. This stuff's pretty nice, super flexible, and it is made in the US, which is pretty nice. So we did get 25 feet of this. So we're going to go ahead and hook up a couple of these quick chucks. These are heavy duty quick chucks. They're going to clamp on the valve stems, similar to what we've been using on this one, but these are actually the 1/4-inch NPT thread. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook those up to the 2 ends of the hose. I am going to use a couple different fittings. I do have a T for the front tire, and then we do have some barbed connectors here. Those will be where we can go ahead and attach our couplers here. I did go ahead and pick up these red ones. I think it'll look pretty good with the green color there. They do make other colors. They have like a darker green, a blue, and a purple you can get, but I went with the red. And then I also got these screw down couplers here. We're gonna try those, but if those don't fit over there, you can always go ahead and use the little hose clamp ones on the barb setup there. I think these will look a little bit cleaner if we can get them to work. And then these T's, these are going to be 1/4-inch as well. These ones are pretty thin. We'll see if they work, make sure we don't have any leaks. I might have to get some different ones. I did go ahead and pick up a PEX pipe cutter just so we can get some nice clean cuts on this hose, since it is kind of a different material. I did go ahead and pick up a little hose clamp kit here. So this comes with a bunch of different sizes, and then it also comes with the tool that you need to go ahead and clamp those guys down. So we've got that. What we want to do is we are going to go ahead and remove this Nitto coupler that they use on here. This isn't a standard coupler. If you look at the tips here, they're quite a bit different, so you can't use these couplers on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut this guy off. We'll put one of these guys on, and then we're going to put these on each end there where we need to connect into this guy. I do want to maybe down the road do a 4-tire setup, so that'll have a little manifold with a splitter, and then we can use that extra one for that. So I want to go ahead and lay this out, see how much we're going to need. The JL is 118 inches on the wheelbase there, so I'm going to go ahead, I'll probably do about 12 feet from that one, and then I'll do a couple feet off that one, and then I normally have the air compressor up on that front passenger side. That's where the battery is. So let's go ahead and we'll lay this out and we'll see what's going to work. So one of the reasons you'd want to do a setup like this is obviously to help with time, so we can fill up 2 tires at once. That'll also equalize the pressure on them. But this little guy does 5.6 CFM, and a Schrader valve, a traditional one like that, can only take about 2 CFM. So we're actually kind of overloading the air compressor, making it work a little harder, and it's also going a lot slower at that rate. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we'll get the 2 tires. That way I can do front and rear, but that should save quite a bit of time, and it should also make this air compressor work a little bit less and be a little bit faster. We are going off-roading this weekend, so we'll definitely try it out. So let's go ahead and grab our air hose and see how much we need. So we went ahead and laid out all our air hose here. So I went ahead and kind of simulated about how much we're going to need off the front here. Looks like we're going to do a couple feet there, maybe 1.5 feet. And then I went ahead and left a little bit extra down there at the end. I don't want this super snug. I want to have a little bit of wiggle room just in case the valve stem's up at the top of the tire at the 12 o'clock position, something like that. So I think we're going to go ahead and use about that much. We'll put the T in here. We'll cut it and put the T in here. And then we'll do whatever this is. This is about 2 feet, it looks like. And then whatever we have left, I'm going to go ahead and leave so it can make its way to the air compressor. Because when we're airing up on the driver's side, it's going to need to reach around the front of the vehicle over to this corner. So we're going to need that extra 5-6 feet there. So I'm going to go ahead, we'll get this, start getting this cut, and get it kind of test fitted so we can get it all set up. But one thing I want to do is I do want to go ahead and test this for you guys. So I'm going to leave this on the air compressor for now, so in the morning when nobody's sleeping we can go ahead and test that. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and hook up the Smitty air hose and we'll see how long that takes to air up a tire. I normally air down to about 10 psi and run about 30 on the highway. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead, air down one, fill it back up with the Smittybilt original setup, see how long that takes, and then we can double it. And then we'll go ahead and hook up our 2 setup here and see how long it takes that compressor to fill up the 2 at the same time. I'm sure it'll be quite a bit faster, but we'll test it out for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and start splicing this and getting the connectors on that we need on the air hose anyways, and then we'll finish that up in the morning and show you guys. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take one end of our air hose, we're going to cut this end of it off. I do have these handy cutters I picked up on Amazon, those are pretty cheap. I got all this stuff on Amazon and I got it all for under $100, so I think we can do this pretty cheap if this turns out pretty good. So I'll go ahead and leave links to all this stuff down below for you guys. So let's go ahead and cut this, and then we'll start getting our little screw-on adapters there on there, and then we can go ahead and put the air chuck on that one end, and then we'll cut and do our T for that front tire. Alright, let's go ahead and get working. Got this guy on. It's a pretty snug fit on this hose here, so we go ahead and scrap the using these guys. The Flexzilla hose seems to be just a little too thick to get these guys on. I tried for a while and I couldn't get it to fit over that and screw down onto this, so that's a bummer because these were pretty nice, they're pretty clean, but we'll see if we can come up with something different in the future. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use a barb, and then we're going to go ahead and use one of these clamps. These little hose clamps here. These are the single-use kind, not the kind like that comes here with the T where you have to screw them on and there's stuff that hangs out. These will be a little bit cleaner, and it looks like the size that's going to work is this size here. That's going to be the 10.3 to 12.8 millimeter one there on the bottom right. And then we'll go ahead, we'll slide one of these guys on, and then we'll get our barbed fitting in, and then we can go ahead and clamp it down. These aren't as clean as you can tell as these, but I might go back and snip these off and do something a little different in the future. So let's go ahead, we'll get this guy on so we can run this this weekend when we go off-roading, and then we'll see about changing that out. Okay, as you guys can see, that clamped on pretty easy. That is squishing it pretty good, so I don't think that's going anywhere. I tugged on it quite a bit. Alright, so we can go ahead and put our tape on here, and we can get one of our air chucks on there, and then we'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we went ahead and got that taped up, got our heavy duty air chuck on there. So this is all set on this end. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and splice and put in our little T's here, and we'll do another one of these on the front side. I ended up doing about 30 inches off that wheel just in case the valve stem's up at the top. Seemed like about the right amount to get it so we have some slack, and then it could be used on other vehicles as well. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and splice in our T there and get that all clamped into that section, and then we should be pretty much done. We'll just have to put the coupler on here. We'll put a male one on here, and we'll do the female on that one after we cut it and put the little barbed 1/4 inch in that. I do want to go ahead and test it like I said, so I'll leave that on for now, that little Nitto connector there, but in the morning we'll go ahead and test it and we'll see which one is faster. I bet this new one's going to be quite a bit faster. Alright guys, went ahead and got it kind of roughed out here. I went ahead and clamped the air chucks on these two ends. That's all set up. And then I went ahead and clamped the T on there pretty good. Got those nice and tight. Those aren't going anywhere. And it turns out I have about just enough slack here left over that when we do the driver's side, it'll just reach the air compressor here. Sometimes when I'm airing up and it's raining, I like to have it just kind of underneath the front of the Jeep here like this. That way it's not getting wet. So this will give us plenty of room to run it to that opposite side of the Jeep and not have any issues. So what we're going to do tomorrow after we go ahead and test it is we're going to add our coupler. The female end is going to go on this end, on the compressor end, and then this little male end here will go on our air hose there. So that'll slide right into that, and then if you do it that way, if you have anything else that plugs into an air compressor, you can go ahead and pop it into this. It just has the standard air chuck now, which will be good. And we'll test her out for you. Pretty excited, guys. I think it turned out great. I'll go ahead and get some measurements for you guys as far as the rear length goes. I did do 30 inches here, and that seems like plenty there. This one, it's going to vary per vehicle, but if you're doing a JL or a JKU, this will be very similar. So I'll go ahead and I'll put that length on the screen here for you, and we'll go ahead and button this up in the morning. I'm excited to get this tested. I just want to show you what that looks like all rolled up. So the nice thing about this Flexzilla is it is super soft, so you can roll it right back up, and then this doesn't take up much space at all. I might get a little carrying bag to toss this in, but I'm pretty happy with that, how that turned out. That's another reason why I wanted to just do the 2 tires. I didn't want to end up with 50 feet of hose that I had to fight with. This will be nice. I can go ahead and air up 2 at a time with this 5.6 CFM Smittybilt. It'll be a lot better on the compressor, and then it'll also work quicker, hopefully. So we'll go ahead and we'll test that out. I'm pretty excited about this one, guys. Okay, we're back in the garage today. I did lose my beard over the night. That was per my wife's request. We did go ahead and trim it. Feel a little weird without it, but we're going to go ahead and test the Smittybilt air compressor. All right, let's go ahead and try it out with the original Smittybilt setup with the yellow hose. It's all factory minus the little air chuck thing that I added at the end for clamping on the valve stem. So we're going to go ahead, try that out. I'm going to air down both the front and the back so it's even test. We're going to time both with the original setup, and then we're going to hook up our new air hose and try it out and see how much time we save. I'm excited to see what the difference is. Let's get into it. All right, let's go ahead and air down so we can try out that Smittybilt setup and get it timed. We're going to go ahead and use our Apex valves here. These things are pretty cool. You can go from about 30 psi to about 10 psi in about 25 seconds. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to air down real quick, get them all to 10 on this side, on the passenger side, front and rear, and then we'll go ahead and we'll test that compressor. Okay, now that we went ahead and aired down both the tires to about 10 psi, we're going to go ahead and test out this front one. We're going to do it with the Smittybilt setup here. This is the whole factory setup minus the little air chuck we added there for you. So we're going to go ahead, we'll time this front one, we'll see how long it takes, and then we'll go ahead and finish up the rear, and we'll put the 2 times together, and then we'll test it against our new setup. All right, here we go. Alright guys, so as you saw, it took 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go ahead and air up this front tire with the Smittybilt setup. So let's go ahead, we'll hop on the rear, we'll time the rear, we'll add the 2 times together, and then we'll go ahead and test our new setup. ahead and crimped on our NPT 1/4 inch adapter there with the barb, and then we can go ahead and put on our coupler. You do want to put some more of that Teflon tape on there. You want to put that on all these threads, that way we don't have any air leaks. We'll go ahead and hook this guy up, and then we'll be all set to go ahead and test it again. Okay, so we're all hooked up. We're aired back to 10 psi front and rear. We got everything hooked up with our new setup, but let's go ahead, we'll get the timer going. We'll see how long it takes. Alright guys, success. That went ahead and worked great. We were just under 5 minutes to do the 2 tires. So that means we're going to be able to do both sides in under 10 minutes. That's going to save us a few minutes here or there. It's also quite a bit more convenient. And I do like the fact that we can go ahead and equalize the tire pressure between the 2 tires. I made this long enough so we could go ahead, if we did one side and the compressor failed, we could reach around to the other side, let those guys equal out, and then you'd be around 20 or so, and that could get you home. Alright guys, this is a cool little mod. You know, if you go ahead and skip all the trial and error that I did and use the links down below, you can do this for about 80 bucks, which is pretty cool. And you can always go back and add more features if you like. You can put a manifold on it, do the other side. I might do that down the road. You can put a pressure gauge on it. You can put a little on-off valve, anything like that. Alright guys, if you liked this video and got anything out of it, go ahead and like the video, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks guys.